ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the desk. My name is F. Joined here by Hindu Man, and we're in North America now, bringing you the best of the best.
The best, well, yeah, of North America, I guess. Well, it's Ullr versus Denial on your screens. Ullr currently sat in second position. It's pretty much tied up now, I believe, because Cloud9 just won that. I think they just caught up a little bit more towards closing that gap. But Denial, well, they're at the bottom of the standing, 7th at the moment.
Yeah, Denial's gonna have to. They're gonna have to work to find themselves at the LAN. Of course, we've expanded our regionals. They're now super regionals, and it'll be the 6 teams, the top 6 teams. So Denial trying to get out of that 6 and 12 spot in order to get themselves a trip to hi-rez Studios.
And coming into this game as well, Ullr coming off that back of that big win against TSM, that big 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
Before that, they defeated Cognitive as well. Crossed away, though, Denial squeaked out a draw with Enemy overall, and then also lost to Cloud9 2-0 as well. So they're not on the best path at the moment, Denial. They need to start stepping up if they want to try and close in on 6th at least.
Ullr, of course, is going to be the team standing in the way of Denial, and this is what they look like, folks. You've got Omega, the most recent addition to this squad, coming off of the Cloud9 team, the team that took the World Championships last year in January. So he goes ahead, joins the team of Ullr, and as we saw at Cognitive Invitational, these guys have now all met pretty much, which is a small hurdle that online teams have to go through. Ullr has done that, and they look very different.
And now on the crossed away, though, Denial. Well, they've had a roster change this week. Shing has been replaced now with homie FA in the jungle, or now known as Sikandara.
Sikandara is how that's pronounced. Okay. I, however, will always remember him as the Iron Homie. Homie FE.
Homie FE.
That will always be the name, unfortunately, you know.
Now, Denial, like we keep hopping about, we're a top 4 team last season. This season, no, struggling a little bit. Maybe bringing in Sikandara, it may help them out to strengthen the side. Maybe they were saying Shing was a little inconsistent was the issue. Exactly.
I think that Shing has been a long-time player here in our Smite Pro League, and for a very long time he was very dominant, but we haven't seen that Shing as of late. Occasionally Shing does wind up turning up, and we see something, glimpses of his past, but inconsistent, I think, was the best term. So Denial goes ahead and switches things around, and we'll see Sikandara in the jungle instead of Shing, a long-time jungler for this squad.
Now, the last time these two teams met was back in Week 3, and Denial won this against Ullr 2-0. So out of the 6 wins Denial had, it's 2 wins that went in favor of them. Can they continue to keep the pressure on Ullr here and help to close the gap by finding the wins here?
I think that not only the Ullr team that played earlier in the year is a different team, but also Denial. I think that Ullr ramped up to the strong powerhouse that they are right now, and I think that Denial has fallen down a couple of notches to find themselves in their 7th position here in the North American standings.
When Giannis banned out with ISIS, that means that Serqet, Khepri, and some Wukong, the sort of go-to bands at the moment, one of them is getting through, but with Hell being taken off, that should mean that another one of them will slip through as well.
We'll take a look at how this goes. Now, Ullr, we know that they don't like to play against Hell. They don't enjoy the healers. We're not going to see much of that. ISIS also provides a little bit of an issue. And Denial doing their homework. Naja, if you watch today, Naja might just seem like a standard meta pick, but what's become relatively standard really was launched by Team Ullr. Their jungler DaretoCare brought this pick to prominence.
And one thing that's definitely standard as well, Sun Wukong being first pick, first ban material, locked in for Ullr. But like I said, Khepri available, Serqet also available that we could see Denial go for.
We'll see how. Oh, Khepri is selected, so we'll take that into key. And the Serqet, 1 for 1. Wow.
It made sense more than anything else.
Man, what's next? Just tell us the draft.
I would probably see a mid laner, maybe Agni for LAssiz in mid, or the Ra, potentially. He goes for those sort of gods in the mid lane.
Poseidon.
I'm not sure about Poseidon so early against the Serqet, not necessarily the easiest one. I mean, it does help against
Poseidon,
Cripple,
especially against the Serqet. Poseidon!
You got one right. I got 3 in a row, and you get 1, you got excited. I didn't get excited.
It's just like me on Esports Weekly, man. I get 1 and I'm good. So we've got Poseidon, so Wukong, it's going to be an Athena. Athena! That is PolarBEarMike's god.
It is PolarBEarMike's god, but DaretoCare has also run it in the jungle a couple of times.
Of course.
Maybe he'll go for that one as well. It's quite possible.
What's next?
Being taken off
Let's
the
see. Denial Esports. They've got Khepri for their innovative support Shadowq and Serqet for their new fill-in Sikandara. Where do they go from here?
Osiris is on the table as well to try and deal with Sun Wukong as a possibility. Serqet could be put there against Sun Wukong as well, which we've seen before. But we may see Freya over in the duo lane could be a possibility as well.
It is going to be a Freya. All right, that one was fishy. That one was fishy. I don't give you credit for that one. You got a hint.
I didn't get excited. I'm not like you. I don't get excited over calling pick size. Just normal. Ban phase, though, comes through. I expect to see a Geb potentially banned away here by Denial to make sure that doesn't go over. Even though Athena's on the table, they could still believe there's that. Actually, an Ao Kuang DaretoCare here.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. The execute is going to be very important. Khepri no longer saves, so that'll be strong. And it's a god that DaretoCare plays very, very well. Eager, understanding. Again, the Freya one was a cheap shot. Osiris was the go-to guess, and Eager understands that as well. They ban out Osiris, who has a, when we say favorable matchup against Sun Wukong, we mean about 50%. Hercules is the other option.
We could see a new war picked up by Denial here for the mid lane. It's a safeguard. It's going to be able to be followed up with burst damage after Khepri does get an ambush off as well. Extra survivability, and it's another god that can get away from the Krakens from Poseidon.
I think in the mid lane we see something different. Bellona going to be selected here to go up against Sun Wukong. Team Eager, they have 2 picks left, likely to be the Hunter and the Jungler.
Well, Zapman's go-to for the most part this season. He's played a lot of Ullr. Apollo's always one of those that's available to him as well. Everybody knows about Apollo, Zapman, and Rama as well is also available.
Well, going up against the Freya, I think we do wind up seeing the Ullr or an Apollo.
Well, Ullr's also good against Bellona.
Ullr gets picked up, knowing Zapman. We see the Ullr. He does handle Freya very well. And as we go into the jungle, Athena, Poseidon, Sun Wukong. You go with the standard, you go with the Thor.
We'll probably see Sun Wukong and Omega pick up a teleport here. They've also got Athena with the global presence, Thor with global presence. Good composition. I mean, across the way, though, mobility is key here for them.
Exactly, and Poseidon's going to be a big part of that. Nuwa selected for the mid lane.
Now, the reason Nuwa was good there for the pick is because, like I said, the ambush is available to get into the stun. But on top of that, it's another ultimate, just like Freya, that can get you away from a Kraken, which is what we'll be looking for Eager to land.
It's a very interesting draft here, because outside of the Freya and the Bellona, we guessed all of these picks correctly. And I used the word guess, and I'm gonna change that word. We predicted, because these teams, Eager has a very standard lineup, and that's really what we come to expect. DaretoCare likes to switch things up a little bit by playing Naja or a Guardian in the jungle. We haven't seen the Guardian too much, but other than that, these are all very standard meta-friendly picks. Zapman, the most flavorful character here, playing as Ullr, and that's something that if you follow the Smite Pro League, you have to know that Zapman always has this character available, regardless of the meta. And then over on the side of Denial, a very similar story.
We're following along with Khepri there as well, which is a god that we haven't seen too much of, because generally banned, or to be fair, when we've seen it over in America as well, he's actually got through to the count of ban phase and been banned away there, so he's not been picked too much. But it does bring a lot to the table that a lot of teams are starting to realize, not just in the fact that it gives survivability with that ultimate, but it can also give you extra power and extra movement speed to get away from a gank or chase one down even.
For me, Khepri being piloted by Shadowq here today, which is no surprise. Denial for all of their problems. One of the things that you can always take to the bank about this team is that Shadowq is going to be the innovator. He's not afraid of trying new things. So Khepri, a god that doesn't get seen much play because almost permanently banned out, he's going to be taking it here. One of my favorite things about Khepri, honestly, is not the Battle Resurrect ultimate, but in fact the second ability. It's a team fight at a ball.
It does, because what it does is it actually buffs anyone it passes over with protections, including minions. On top of that, it will also deal damage to the enemies and deal dot damage at that. Also, claim minions is one thing that I want to point out there. It will hit them, and it will allow them to be buffed with higher protections too for tanking towers down, which is a nice combo with Nuwa.
Oh boy, I didn't even think about that one. So much potential to become
Look how aggressive Zap is. That's because they deny all the burst damage. Such aggression early on, and Bronx is under trouble, and so is Khepri.
No surprise here. I mean, this is the patented Zapman jump in level 2. It was on her at first.
And because it poked both of them down there, that's pretty much rough situation now for that duo lane. They're generally looking for the pulse damage and then the dot damage from the two just to continue the pressure and clear the wave out. But Zapman already turning up.
Here's the taunt coming out from PBM. The follow-up from Zapman. A couple of basics, but very important. No deaths, but everybody very, very low. Zapman,
out
though.
Of mana. Big issue now. They put all this pressure onto him, and it looks like Denial might be able to weather the storm here. BronxBombers should be able to heal up, and now with the support you can see coming out as well from Sikandara in the jungle to support, it should relieve this and allow him to sustain back up, and Zap's going to have to go back to base for mana.
No problem here with Zapman backing. He's given a lot of the pressure on his opponent, and we'll see how he returns to lane.
Look at this aggression, though, from Eager going into the enemy jungle to steal back up his Poseidon with Thor together. Going to have an easier time of things up against a new Serqet at this stage.
Absolutely. I love this play. Eager not the only team to do this. Usually we see teams, it's very choreographed dance. You do the mid wave, you do backs. You do the mid wave, you do backs, etc. Well, Eager does the mid wave and then the enemy backs, and they usually wind up losing a little bit of the wave for it. Usually about half of the wave goes to tower. They wind up getting the experience, losing half of the gold to the tower, but by stripping away that back camp, it almost evens out.
And you can see the two solo laners there as we tuned in, just trading out consistently. They've both literally just popped their last health potions as well. So where they stand now with the blue buffs fading is where they're going to have to continue for the time being. And now they've both got ultimates, so just keep an eye on this fight because it could be a quick death on one of them.
Wukong up in the air, going to be chasing on the Bellona? Not quite.
Sustaining back up is the key there, though. Right. Getting more HP over Whalrus, so Whalrus has to consider recalling, which is what he's looking to do.
Exactly. If Wukong goes aggressive there, he absolutely has to get the kill. If the kill doesn't wind up, if Bellona doesn't get forced back to base by way of kill, Wukong probably dies. At very least is forced back to lane. Or forced back to base.
As we cheer on the left-hand side, we do see Whalrus did fall back after picking up that minion wave. He's got teleport, and now Omega will probably recall himself now with the opportunity. He's going to go into the enemy jungle. Maybe even stick around for the blue buff. He's not actually going to recall here, Omega, maybe. I think he's going to stick for the experience and continue getting a bit of an experience advantage.
Zoning coming out very well by the guys on Eager.
It's good early pressure from Eager, but it's not too much that Denial can't come back into this one.
Of course.
Denial playing this one for the team fight stage. They're looking potentially to use Serqet as an aggressive option if somebody overextends.
I love this decision. So
there's a big commitment left. Big commitment left. Big Tom, big Kraken. Shadowq will use the ultimate defensively on himself, but he will still fall down.
I love the decision of Eager. They go ahead, they go into the purple buff here, and if Denial comes and engages on them or goes too far off of the tower, you're going to get Thor ulted. DaretoCare was in the air before Team Eager knew what Denial was doing. He goes in the air and he calls the shot. Either it's aggress because they're off of the tower, it's wait a second and aggress because they're coming into the jungle, or it's just get the buff and walk away because they're hiding underneath their tower. Dare's in the air, he's able to call that shot on the go. The team commits, they take out Shadowq for first blood. Team Eager on the board in the 4th minute.
Got themselves in a good spot. There was no response from Denial either on the other side of the map, which is unfortunate. All the buffs were down, so they were able to steal anything away. Obviously Omega, tanky target over in that left-hand lane. In that Sun Wukong, very escapable. And with all the rest of the members on that left-hand side anyway, who else are you going to go on?
There's just not too much miscommunication there.
Couldn't find the route onto Zapman. He would have just forced him to leap away anyway, so it probably wasn't a pick potential, but a little bit of harass was avoided from Zapman there for the time being as he's still sat here. Went for the blue stone. Dependent on this Ullr as well, gives him a little bit of extra mana early on, but also that dot damage, which can be very impactful and potentially find you a kill, but still being aggressed on in that duo. You can see Shadowq just soaking as much experience as he can as well here.
The dot damage is really what that blue stone pickup is for. This little stick is going to turn into a transcendence, which will provide a lot of the damage, which will provide a lot of the mana. But Ullr just so intent on poking.
Cheeky.
And the purple buff stolen away by Khepri.
Nice work from Shadowq there. That's a response to the purple buff stolen earlier. It doesn't come with a kill as well, though, unfortunately. But nice presence of mind from Shadowq to realize by mid lane, Thor did just dump down there DaretoCare, looking for the aggression onto Macetodaface, but he didn't find the pick, unfortunately, with that ultimate. So pressure avoided.
Solo matchup, Bellona versus Wukong, and more importantly, Omega versus Whalrus. Omega has been a character that really likes to be the bully. We usually see Omega just pushing people out. He gets compared to Maniac a lot.
Find the mid lane though, going on. Kraken comes out and DaretoCare will find the kill onto Sikandar as well, with the Kraken connecting. LAssiz was rotating round to the dual lane one more time. They're looking for potential picks. And on the rotation back to mid, he found the Serqet.
Sikandar goes down. That's going to be the first death on the side of Sikandar, sharing one with Shadowq for 2 deaths on the side of Denial. But as we get back into the solo lane, yeah, Omega. Very similar playstyle to Maniac over on Fnatic.
Yeah, very similar playstyle for the most part. But Omega, what I've seen from him when he actually gets involved in fights, Maniac's a little bit more aggressive looking for kills. Whereas Omega in a team fight will sit around a little bit longer and look to control the fight a little bit more.
Yeah, Omega's job really is to set up the rest of Team Eager, which is why he was so plug-and-play for this squad. LAssiz is always looking for the kills, and Zapman, well, he's always looking for the kills. DaretoCare largely looking for kills. Alongside LAssiz, not afraid to share some of the setup man situation as you see this happening right here.
Over in the dual lane. Up in the air, going to look for Vishen, but Vishen, sorry, not Vishen, BronxBombers up from last game. He takes this guy early as Sikandar is in there looking for the ultimate, but he took a lot of poke there. Going to push Zapman into a bit of trouble here, but the channeled ultimate from PolarBEarMike will dissuade the situation again. Everybody lives.
Eager doesn't go as aggressive as they thought they would right in that situation. Sikandar's ultimate enough to send Eager packing. Zapman a little trepidatious about heading on in.
The game plan, though, from Eager this game has been focus duo lane all day, every day. LAssiz rotating quickly over there. The one kill that he found in the mid lane was because of the rotation and come back to the mid. They're leaving Omega on this island against Whalrus. They're quite happy with that matchup there, it seems. And the whole plan is to abuse the early game push power Poseidon's got and make him do these rotations with the support of DaretoCare to collapse on the duo and keep the pressure on this Khepri.
Exactly.
And the Freya.
Leaving Omega alone is a large part of not only Team Eager's strategy, but Omega independent of what team he's on strategy. That was Omega's instructions to the rest of his team when he was on Cloud9, when he won Worlds, and that's Omega's instructions when he joined Eager. The original conversation was, hey, should we hang out with you? And Omega said, no, in fact, get out of my lane.
Right, he's probably telling LAssiz to get away now, but the blue buff's here, and LAssiz needs to be careful because Khepri's over this side too. Immediately pops the trident and disengages. That blue buff was available as the reason he's round here now, but he's going to be very careful because that teleport from Whalrus means that Eager's going to just pull back for safety.
LAssiz still rotating in the jungle. He's been all over the map and still maintains an even keel with Macetodaface as far as experience is concerned. And even if you look at the gold, LAssiz is actually up 400, largely because of the kill.
Some of that credit, though, is to his team as well, because they could have farmed that mid wave there. You saw PolarBEarMike and DaretoCare both waiting for that mid farm, but they wait for LAssiz to come back to share the experience, keep their mid laner and those rotations working out for him and not punishing him too hard if he's not finding what he's after.
Important part to make sure to, as a unit, to get your farm, not just as an individual. That's really what we see the difference of sort of the top-end teams or the Pro League teams versus the Challenger teams. The idea of functioning as a unit of 5 rather than these individuals on the same map.
Now, this is the point of the game where we may see Zapman have a bit more of an advantage over this Freya in lane. Transcendence is getting towards full stacks right now. Meanwhile, across the way, Bronx only has these Shoes of the Magi online. So the burst potential that we could see come out of Zapman could potentially 100 to 0 the Freya. He's going to play it a little bit safer now, does Bronx. But he should be well aware of the situation. There's a taunt attempt from PolarBEarMike there we saw. Would a potential kill would have been on the option, but obviously Khepri's there anyway.
Usually we see the fatalities come out first. This time around, though, quite different.
He just axed a blinking target in the face the moment he landed.
That's that, man. Down comes DaretoCare from the sky. The Kraken's going to hit about 1.5 damage, mainly focused onto Shadowq, who will fall off the hand of PolarBEarMike. There's the ultimate from Sikandar, who will jump away. Zapman is going to fall to the dot, but he falls by himself. Does not spread it to the rest of the team. DaretoCare picks up another one. So a couple of kills on the side of Team Eager. Only 1 for Denial.
I love what Eager did, though. They got the 2 for 1. They were like, right, what can we get? Do we look for Gold Fury? Well, LAssiz's pathing went the red buff's up, guys, so the whole team rotated in, pick up the red buff. Whalrus is on the rotation to mid, though, to just push out this wave, but he's going to give Omega some free farm at this tower, and he's not got teleport. He could lose some of these minions and potentially some tower, but Omega's going to play safe for a thing and just take his own blue.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned the red buff, Hindu Man, because a lot of times we see teams, they'll win a team fight or a smaller engagement, a skirmish like that, and either the Gold Fury is down or there's not enough breathing room to take the Gold Fury, and it's just sort of like a, well, okay, let's just keep on going. Eager, they're going to take something.
If they can find it.
Exactly, and that's exactly, they found it, and they take it. They go ahead, red buff is all theirs.
These Rayon Harpies are due to spawn soon. DaretoCare will see them, and I don't think they now know these are available now, so Dare just going to double tap, find if anybody's there, spin on them, pick them up for himself. On the left-hand side, you can see Shadowq just got pinged out there. There's probably a ward placed down. There's a sentry was just placed, and PolarBEarMike should go there, drop his own ward, and clear that one out instead.
Just past the 10-minute mark, Fire Giant has spawned. No teams really yet to go into it. Taking a look at the builds here. The left-hand side, hold that thought. Shadowq.
And that's the best I'm talking about at this stage as well, that you can see come out from Zapman. It wasn't a full-on combo that he could have done, but he did enough pressure on that while we see Omega chipping away at this tier 1 tower here. They're looking for the goal fury after bursting down, though, BronxBombers, and you can see the response from Whalrus on this side. It means that there's going to be a 4v3
That's a direct holler from Omega. He sees who's in his lane, just calls it out to Team Eager and says, hey, go for the gold fury, go for the gold fury. Even if they fight, you have 4v3.
Banish was really big, and that's allowed Serqet to come all the way over now from that solo lane, and that means it should stop Eager from these aggression onto the Gold Fury. They get a tier 1 tower for it, but they don't manage to find any more.
Tier 1 is totally fine. Great stun coming out from DaretoCare to prevent any more aggression out of the guys on Denial, and with that, Denial deny the attempt from Eager to take the Gold Fury. DaretoCare's ultimate just a bit too shy.
Meanwhile, this is all going on. Omega on the other side has managed to pick up that blue buff up against Whalrus there, as well as steal that one away from him. We did see the beads just bought by LAssiz in that mid lane. It was beads 1 as well, as one thing I want to point out. Look at the builds between him and Macetodaface here. Already Spear the Magus finished off compared to Macetodaface that's invested fully into defense. He's got a full beads online early to get himself out of some bad situations, as well as that Aegis. So that's why you see his builds a little bit further ahead in terms of damage, but not survivability.
One more time, Team Eager's going to go on in here, hit the Kraken to secure the Gold Fury, essentially hogging it there. Good stuff coming out from Zapman. Very accurate on this Ullr, which is why he's always a pocket pick available for Eager. And Denial, they'll chase out their opponent, who are largely wounded, but unfortunately for them, unable to find the kills.
Omega went into the jungle there to take some experience and do the back harpies. Took a lot of poke on that tower, though, over on that side, as we see Serqet trying to steal away this buff in the jungle, and he actually will find it. Fortunately, Eager lose their buff.
Serqet pick up the buff, and he gets away no problem.
Right inside, though, look what Omega's doing. He's over at the speed buff now, looking to pressure Whalrus, but he doesn't realize just yet. He should do now that Serqet is on the way. Did he manage to pick up is the question?
He did.
Lovely. Jubbly gets away with that Oxform.
I love how aggressive both of these teams are being. There are so many jungle invades in this game 1. Team Eager started off the game by taking back Harpies, essentially. Right after that, we saw them go directly towards a purple buff. Serqet, the brand new member of this squad, goes for the buff steal on the side of Eager.
Collapse on Shadowq, Taunt hits him as well, cripple on the backside. Great banish, though, coming out there from BronxBombers to stop the aggression on Shadowq. He saves him.
BronxBombers has been on point when it comes to these whoops. Absolutely just
stop the Gold Fury aggression because of it, which was potentially low. Even though the Gold Fury falls later on, it was a good whoop there. And then again to save Shadowq, who was, honestly, he may have had to ultimate to at least survive a little bit longer.
I just love the play coming out from both of these teams. Unafraid. Right now, 2 members on the side of Denial. Going to surprise LAssiz in the middle lane and make him toss out his Kraken.
Did get beads, though. Did get beads, but now he's going to get aggressive on Aegis out. The
smart
Cobra's
Aegis.
Kiss.
That is a very smart Aegis. The Cobra's Kiss, if the taunt came online, it would just be, well, too much crowd control, allowing Denial to just zigzag and take him out. Aegis, excuse me, the crowd control, and he can get away with everything.
Good damage from onto BronxBombers there as we check in with the mid lane again. Zapman and BronxBombers are still trading, and Zapman will pick up the kill.
Zapman, Ullr, such a fantastic 1v1 character, able to get the stuns out after the pulse is activated, lowering the damage that Freya can actually deal to him, and then the combo just a little bit strong.
Mega goes a bit too deep here, though. I think he may fall down. No, he will get on his cloud just in time, I think. He's not regenning much. Oh, he wasn't regenning because Serqet used the ultimate to stop healing. Fire Shard secured the kill.
Zapman, after his 1v1 kill, will pick up a tower for his troubles. And Omega tosses his life in the mid lane.
Has to back away because Serqet shows his face on that side. Meanwhile, in mid lane, Eager, even though they lost that man, they were continuing to aggress because all the ultimates were consumed. And we'll see BronxBombers on his way back now, eventually from the base to try and defend against Zapman. But look at this, DaretoCare around the back. May look for Serqet. This could be a collapse.
Here we are riding along with DaretoCare. Jumping towards him is the secondary
Again from PolarBEarMike. He'll secure that kill. But teleport coming out from Whalrus now as well, as it looks like PolarBEarMike's caught out of position by Bronx. So Wall will buy time. The beads and the ultimate force to secure the kill.
PolarBEarMike takes a spill. 6 to 3 are the kills. Denial coming back, trying to climb this hill. They're down about 4,800 gold, as Ullr has gotten a couple of objectives, including the tier 1 on the left-hand side.
The hill's starting to steady, though. Since the Gold Fury is starting to steady out, this hill is not continuing to climb and climb out of the control. The Denial won't be able to force this one back. It's definitely a big advantage for Ullr right now, but it's not the end of the game just yet. They're trying to pressure mid lane, going to have clay minions here, but DaretoCare is low on mana, so there's not going to be a whole lot he can do. He's just going to clear the minion.
It's a little more steady, but I think Denial's ready to come back and just sort of siege. We see them 3 members deep taking down this tier 1 tower right in the middle lane. 500 gold in their coffers, but more importantly, an objective, a strong structure being taken off the map.
Omega just hanging around in the jungle here, seeing if they were going to continue committing their Denial, but Denial wise, backing away. They're going to find Zapman doing the left on Harpies, but already taken down before they can even look at it. Good news though for BronxBombers, Hasten Fatalis is online, and that demonic grip is almost finished now, so we should start seeing the burst potential of a Freya really start to hit home.
Fatalis is usually the item that we see first out of the Freya. This time around, we see the penetration boots. Any insight into why?
On the penetration boost instead of Fatalis, I think he wanted the mobility to escape the taunts from Athena, as well as have the opportunity to juke out the damage from Ullr's range. You know, obviously with the axe as well, want to try and juke that one out. Give him the extra bit of penetration and survivability because of mobility more than anything else.
Makes sense, just trying to get out of the way of trouble. Demonic Grip, as you said, going to be coming online, and that really, once Demonic Grip is there, the penetration is so strong, and you really, that is a noticeable power spike when it comes to Freya.
Well, Gold Fury just came back online as well. Ullr secured the last one nicely, and it looks like they're starting to bring out the sentry wards. You see LAssiz with one of his inventory, his PolarBEarMike just dropped one there at the Harpies. So they might start looking for the control again, because Kraken is one of those abilities that can help secure it. It's not as useful as the likes of Ra or Khan though, but it is a very good controlling ability to secure those Gold Furies.
Oh, without a doubt, the Kraken very scary.
It's Denial making the call here.
This Gold Fury. Gold Fury already down to about 75% HP, so it's a quick one. And LAssiz, man, Ullr understands, and the Gold Fury has been leashed. That's what Ullr was looking for.
That was all PolarBEarMike for me. He just walked up and said, hey guys, I've got teammates behind me. They didn't, but now they do, because DaretoCare's in the air, going to dunk down the backside, Macetodaface has to use the fire shots defensively here. Shadowq has to retreat back to his team, but 2 ultimates were expended there. Re-aggression though for Whalrus.
DaretoCare misses his ult because of the taunt out of PBM. Just an unfortunate set of circumstances. I mean, the communication there is, I'm going in, I'm ulting, I'm taunting. What? Oh no, it's one of those. It's a mistake by definition, but it's one of those almost unavoidable situations. The gameplay moves so fast, and you have to do things at instinct speed. The second you hesitate is the moment you lose.
And it's a wash fight for the time being, but this Poseidon that we see LAssiz playing here, he's got a rough time, LAssiz, this game. He's going to deal with 2 people with beads, people with Aegises to avoid the Kraken. Then he's still going to deal with the fire shards and the Valkyrie's discretion. Then the ultimate from Shadowq as well. And then you've got a stupid god Serqet that'll escape at 1,000 times as well. So it's very difficult. If we see LAssiz line big Krakens here that make an impact, that's huge, because it's not easy.
There's a Kraken on the Shadowq, but Shadowq able to use his abduct to get out of harm's way. Damage coming out from the ultimate out of Secondar, who will jump away to safety, but Whalrus comes through and takes out the mid laner. LAssiz, no more Krakens for you. 3 people here being aggressed on by 2 from Denial, and Bronx just in the wings. Pulse is activated. He's going to slow down PolarBEarMike and chunk through the support's health. Up in the air. 1 shot, 2 shot. It's not enough. He'll have to go and slink back Whalrus, or BronxBombers rather, dealing a lot of damage, but no kills for the side of Denial.
Ullr did very well to survive. Only LAssiz dropped in that fight, and they did almost to get out, but the problem is now the Gold Fury is being taken down here. Nobody from Ullr should be back here in time to try and defend this one. Maybe a chance Zapman can steal, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. You can see that on the map. DaretoCare doesn't have ultimate available either, so 1 for 1 in Gold Furies now in this game.
That's going to even out a little bit of the problems that Denial has had, but up until this point, despite the kills being close, 6 to 4, a bigger lead on the side of Ullr, about 4,000 is the tune that Ullr is singing right now.
Denial are about to base here, and 4 members of Ullr have group mid. They can pressure the tier 1 tower here. DaretoCare going to force them back. Not necessarily going to kill them.
Exactly.
Force them back for the tier 1.
I love that play. A lot of the times Thor wants to ult in the jungle so that he can surprise and get the hit. Ullr wasn't necessarily looking for the team fight there, Hindu. They're just looking for the objective. So Thor ults in front of everybody. He stands in the middle and ults and says, I dare you to come up front.
Zapman LAssiz in a bit of trouble here. Is he going to get chased down by Serqet and BronxBombers? You can see the PolarBEarMike recognizes the situation, comes in, and a Kraken was forced by LAssiz too.
One of the things that we have praised LAssiz on in the past couple of weeks, specifically on this Poseidon, is his ability to hold the Kraken. His ability to not use the Kraken when most people would, and more importantly, not defensively just quick trigger Krakening. We're seeing that today,
Before his last death we just saw, I mentioned how much, though, that this team that he's up against is going to be able to avoid these Krakens. We even saw the Abduct come out from Shadowq there to miss that Kraken earlier on. And that's one of the only real targets he can look to go on with it if he can get him caught in the Whirlpool.
But what I'm saying is we're seeing all of these defensive Krakens from just the quick panic Krakens from the outside.
But now this, what his game plan with this is, maybe a panic Kraken, but it's a defensive stay alive Kraken.
Exactly.
More than anything else. And that's what we may see these Krakens used for, is to disengage fights now, not necessarily to aggressive fight, unless we know, certain ultimates are down, beads are down, Aegis is down.
Right. So a lot of different scenarios LAssiz has been greeted with here against Denial, a much different situation. So
he's
has
not
to
be
be a little quicker on the
He's not going to be
Krakens.
happy with wanting to use his Krakens defensively all the time. But maybe that's what we see Ullr do in this game, is start using them for the defensive plays more than the big, let's Kraken everybody. It's going to be unrealistic as we see 3 Aegises now on the side, and it's on prime targets.
I think it's just a result of Serqet being as aggressive as he is. Serqet has been in the backline every single time. Granted, it's only gotten the 1 kill on Zapman, but it's pushed the enemy out so many different times.
To be fair, Serqet as well on this Serqet, he's probably one of the only ones LAssiz could really look at. If those beads go down, he gets the Whirlpool off, then he can land the Kraken because he's got no Aegis. He went he went Blink this game.
And going Blink, I mean, that's largely what makes Serqet top pick, top ban material. The ability that she gets a couple of different jumps. Denial making a push on the right-hand side. Previously the solo lane. Now it's a party. 6 people here, 4 on the side of Denial, 2 on the side of Ullr.
Little late response from Ullr there. They were just soaking farm elsewhere because of that as well. So they get a free tower to Denial there, close the gold gap a little bit more. We said it was a hill earlier on. It's starting to come down the other side at the moment. Denial can continue putting this on. They can start to try and even this game up. The longer this goes, though, the better I'm feeling about Denial's composition because of this Freya late game, because of what we've already spoke about with LAssiz not being able to find many targets with this Kraken at the moment. It's a rough situation, I feel, for the boys of Ullr. They can still win, clearly,
of course.
We'll find out.
I mean, they're clearly in the lead at the moment. They're leading by about 4,000 gold.
But the longer this goes on, we look towards hyper carries. That's the thing I always look for. Hyper carry. Well, we've got BronxBombers. We have him with a Valkyrie's Discretion. His ultimate, she'll take him out of combat. And then add the fact that you'll probably have to fight for him twice, because then Shadowq will use the blessing on him as well, just to give him that second life, even if he does go down the first time. That's an opportunity with a hyper carry.
Here comes the stun into the taunt. Whirlpool is strong, but the beads are used on both players that were caught up.
Now, you called that on LAssiz earlier on as well, that he's very good at holding it. That was a great opportunity to try and go for it. But if he did that, they would have both Aegis. It would have been a waste of time.
Exactly, and that's really where we're talking about right there. Is the goal of Ullr was to get beads. They get beads next time. LAssiz will have that Kraken available, and we'll see that on point.
Well, maybe what we might see actually, a Whalrus coming around the back here, trying to regress onto Ullr. PolarBEarMike taking up the front side here. Gonna get hit by that damage from Shadowq and that too. Whirlpool gonna zone out a little bit. Zapman quite happy on the front line, poking back, but gonna get abducted into a rough spot. Has to use his beast to get away from that Eagles rally. As DaretoCare ducks in the backside, Bronx gets a good double man banish.
Dare deals a little bit of damage. Omega's already forced up into the air. Looking at the right-hand side as 3 members of Denial split up away from the other 2. Khepri ultimate is used, and Ullr will chase into the back jungle.
Great
but
stun.
They'll be stunned out by fantastic ultimate hit. Not ultimate, but a hit from the mid laner. Macetodaface will prevent the onslaught.
But now we can see Ullr still trying to aggress in the jungle, take away the red buff. Omega's pushed in mid lane here as well. They got the ultimate for Shadowq already, but Whalrus is now back in a decent position to continue aggression. Ultimate is down for now, but it's not that long of a cooldown on the Bellona ult.
I loved the play coming out from Denial. Everything that just happened there in that last sequence was enough to stop Ullr.
What a max range axe from Zapman. Like, no, Whalrus, get away. Polar Bear's leaving. But it does give Denial, like you said, a chance now to go look for the Gold Fury here. They're going to clear out the wall with the sentry, and it means Eager cannot back. They want to, but they can't.
Again, the ultimate in Denial's face. Thor, sometimes you want to show the enemy your cards. I'm up in the air. The problem is, since Eager didn't go in, now that threat is completely off of the table.
Whalrus.
Denial trying to filter in, trying to play the game on their own terms and start the engagements, but a couple of stuns, and that's enough to stop Denial in their tracks.
So only PolarBEarMike can go back here because he's got the ultimate to get back in this fight. The other guys trying to sustain up the jungle. We're going to see DaretoCare go back now, knowing the rest of his team are hanging around here. Eager played that really well for me. They sustained up. They survived long enough that Denial had to back away. They couldn't go for the Gold Fury, and now they've got the opportunity because they're back to a decent health pool.
Zapman brings the Gold Fury down to about half, but releases it for the rest of the fight. Abduct is strong onto Zapman. Kraken is going to hit one person. The other was Aegis. Khepri ultimate used. We'll see what happens as Whalrus takes down PolarBEarMike. It's now a 4-on-5. Eager in the bad situation. Denial want to push their luck. Coming around the backside is Shadowq. Root not strong enough, but DaretoCare, his ultimate just came back up.
Though?
He's up. He's looking for the backside. Where's the rest of the team? He's looking at them.
Hiding
They
in the
are
fog.
going
He's gonna find one man in
aggressive.
the fog, forced to beads, jumps away, has to beads himself. And PolarBEarMike, well, he was looking for the dunk squad, but it wasn't available because he had to disengage.
There has been so many engagements, so many aggressions, so many attacks, so many invades, so many whatever word you want to use, Hindu Man, and only 11 kills. The disengage from both sides has been fantastic.
And heading back to what the builds are as well, we've not spoken, actually, heading back to the builds, we don't really spoke about builds that much. We see Miller Renewal obviously online for DaretoCare in the jungle, seeing this more out of the junglers as a third item. But one thing I want to know, Gem of Isolation on LAssiz as well. I keep speaking about it a lot this game because of the Kraken situation and the Aegises. Well, he realizes this, so he's gone for the utility build here.
Oh, yeah.
Keep
And
people
this
trapped in whirlpools to set up damage for his team.
This is something that we see a lot on LAssiz. When it comes to dealing damage, it's a lackluster item. Gem of Isolation doesn't provide the large boost that you get out of Rod of Tahuti or some other choices. But by going Gem of Isolation, it makes the whirlpool into absolute quicksand. What happens late game, the whirlpool from Poseidon becomes so disastrous, you're forced to beads it. Without the Gem of Isolation, a lot of times you'll take some extra poke, but you'll just turn and walk. With the Gem of Isolation online, it just completely changes what this ability does and turns it into virtual hard CC.
Whalrus did just teleport in here as the Gold Fury is getting very, very low now. It does get reset. Omega was doing what Omega does best and zoning, but he's pulled the Gold Fury there. As a biggie as goes rally, hits multiple targets, 5 shots used. Zapman Aegis is the damage choice there, as now on the backside, Omega fighting against 5 as he always is. He will use the cloud to take to the sky. DaretoCare's about to reinitiate.
Dare's looking at the side, probably going to come right on down to separate Whalrus from the rest of his team, and that's the end of him. LAssiz credit on that with a Kraken off the top. Khepri ultimate onto himself. Shadowq uses that to find the exit, and then is found. So Eager.
This should be Gold Fury though. Zapman going to go aggressive looking for Mace. Doesn't find the axe though. If he did, this should have been spell lights out. But a good stun from Mace and a great banish as well from BronxBombers. Turn it around. The Aegis though is good and body blocking his PolarBEarMike there. Fantastic work from the support.
PolarBEarMike doing the opposite juke shoes, absorbing all of the hits for his teammates. Great stuff coming out. Important play coming out from Denial. The stun from Ace in the face in the middle of Berserker's Barrage last time really prevented a lot of the potential damage.
Omega doing what he needs to do, causing an issue. PolarBEarMike there in support if he's required to support out the situation. But the main focus is on this Gold Fury, which Eager get secure.
Beads are popped by Freya. Now when Thor dunks down, she has no way out. Looking for a target. DaretoCare comes right on top of the support. Where's the wall? There it is, but it's on the wrong side. Shadowq able to find the exit and walks right on out.
Macetodaface played that very well with the new wall, though, for the most part. Dropping those clay minions just dissuaded the situation of continuing the aggression. Otherwise, the whole team could have got hit by a big old stone with the shining metal, and that would have been a problem where they would have potentially lost a lot of kills.
Sikadara staying aggressive. I like the decision. Cobra's Kiss is off the mark, so we'll stop that aggression. But as we pass our 30th minute, our half-hour mark, 7-5 read the kills, but that is not the story of the game.
Games this weekend, very, very long. Not being fast games at all.
Well, that's the difference. This has been a fast game. Everything has been coming in. There's been so much violence, so many attacks, so many objectives, so many plays, but the kill count is very low because of the superior ability to just get out of jail from, not the characters, although we do see a lot of those, just the ejection from these fights of both of these teams, Hindu, have been on point. Identifying when the fight has turned sour for your team is a valuable skill that both Eager and Denial have really gotten down pat.
Well, this is a bait around the right-hand side. Potentially, they're waiting for these Harpies to spawn. And now with that ward being in place, they're looking for an engagement. Who they're looking for is the question, but DaretoCare was well aware. And now with that Whirlpool being there with the Gem Alive Insulation proc for the slows, it's going to dissuade it for a moment. Those Harpies are going to be given up by Denial.
PolarBEarMike here, just in case one of the members of Denial come around the corner. He'll go ahead and grab their beads. Likely not a fight, but just break out the beads as all the beads are back online. And that's a problem.
And Whalrus is a potential pick target here. Remember that he doesn't have an Aegis like the others do, so Krakens can be impactful onto him. If they can find the pick onto him, it would help out. We may see LAssiz just look for Krakens onto him because he's won without it. Him and Serqet. That's unusual to say that, but to see him go for a Kraken onto Whalrus, it could be useful.
Or the 7,000 gold lead. Kraken. That Kraken's going to hit very hard immediately. The Khepri ult used onto himself. There's up, there's down.
Hidden in the fog. It was a good juice from Shadowq to keep alive. And the Aegis will buy him another second. The team can group up, but they're not enough damage at the moment. Omega going to take to the cloud, so he's going to survive as well. Denial are not winning this fight at the moment.
Whalrus uses the ultimate, so no more Roma Invicta. He's surrounded. There's a stun. There's a double tap. Not too much damage coming out of that. The taunt on the backside. PolarBEarMike all by himself. DaretoCare hiding. Well, not hiding, but just waiting in the wing. Not going in, allowing PolarBEarMike. He's by himself. He's going to be fine. Let him get out. And if need be, I'll come in and be Thor.
And a good fight again for Eager. It's not a huge win, but it's enough for them to continue the pressure. Now, let's check with the golden experience here and see how this is going. It's 11,000 experience now, 8,000 gold. The hill was coming down, but he's going back up again. But Zapman's probably going to have to give this one up. Yeah, quite wisely as well. And realizes the whole enemy team's there. LAssiz was already basing anyway.
Credit to Zapman and the rest of the team for giving it a shot. I always like to see that. Sometimes we could, because it's important to know that when you see these hunters start the objectives by themselves and then just let it go, we've seen that wind up being successful.
Potentially, yeah, it can in some
we have seen that a couple of times in the SPL.
Now, from Denial's point of view now, I'm looking towards Macetodaface because last time these two faced off as well, Mace picked New War both times then as well. Mace went 7-0 and 12 in Game 2. In Game 1, he went 5-3 and 6, so he's having good performances in this New War, and he's helping to control the map and protect his team as much as possible so far. I'd like to see him confirm some damage because he set up a very good play minions into Shining Metal that could have hit 4 targets, but he fired his Shining Metal a little bit too early, so it didn't get the stun, which is unfortunate because it could have turned that fight a little bit.
Eager walking all over these wards. Denial knows where every member of this team is. DaretoCare's up top, and he's going to land on 1. The stun is strong, but it might not be strong enough as he has to find a way out via Mjolnir's attunement. He gets some help from PolarBEarMike's ultimate, and with that down, Denial might have the upper hand.
It's 2 ults for free in favor of Denial now. Eager still looking to go aggressive here. And Omega on the front line as you'd expect. But blinking from Secondara, they're looking for LAssiz. And LAssiz, okay for now, but gets hit by the root into the Eagles rally. Zapman under pressure has to leap away as well. Whalrus wants to continue chasing on as Omega is beating down Bronx on the backside too. They turn their attention back to Omega. Omega is in a lot of trouble here. He will fall down.
Ultimate not even able to be used there as the Kraken takes out
absolutely no one because the Aegis were used and the defense was on as well. Whalrus brings down LAssiz eventually, and now we're going to have to see PolarBEarMike run away, taking damage as well. Secondara over the wall looking for Zap, forcing the beads. Axe misses this time. Whalrus wants to continue the chase too, and it looks like they're going to try and pressure for a tier 2 in mid.
This fight has been all Denial. 5 members still standing, as you said. The Kraken not able to take out anyone because of the Aegises, so LAssiz falls as well as Omega.
Zapman though, they're going to lose a tier 2, but I think they have an idea. Zap could be doing this, and Zap needs to be aware of it, and I think they are. Luckily, Zap was like, okay, they're not pushing down mid. His teammates called that one out. He's safe.
Here's the rest of the aggression coming out. The Gold Fury by Denial. They'll go ahead and take this no problem. And what was once an 8,000 gold lead for Team Eager, we'll see the swing after the tower. the team fight, and the objective. At 35 minutes in, what was once an 8,000 gold lead shrunk all the way down to 3,600.
An experience where you can see the differential in the graphs there, but the only difference is Shadowq at the moment, who is level 16 to PolarBEarMike's level 17, and THor in the jungle. He's 2 levels down on THor right now. Experience is still there, but it's not as much as it once was, so it's all about the gold as we move into the later stages once again in North America.
Secondara. I like what I've seen out of him. He's been hyper-aggressive, even when the team has been down, and only has 3 deaths.
The problem with Secondara this game is that he's had to deal with Omega, and Omega's been on the front line the whole time, causing an issue, which means that sometimes when you play these assassins, you have to peel on the occasions. And he's been forced to peel onto Omega and force him away from his team. Yes, they've got kills onto Omega a couple of times, but it's still a gold lead, you know, for Eager, and experience league for Eager because of he's not been able to get onto the target. That is LAssiz, that is Zapman, and find those kills.
As we see our teams located around on the right-hand side of the map, looking at the Fire Giant and beyond.
It's a patient moment in the game now because Denial won a big team fight against Eager, and Eager have to respect that. They have to respect that they made the play themselves. They're the ones that initiated with DaretoCare and PolarBEarMike following it up, but it didn't came to naught. And in the end, it came back on them, and they were punished for it. This time around, they have to sit patiently and wait for a different opportunity. Try and mix it up a little bit. Maybe wait for Denial to go aggressive, but Denial probably won't be looking for that. They'll be looking to just farm up and catch up a little bit.
Root by Shadowq, gonna miss. Acts on target as per usual from the Zapman, but it's on a support, so not a lot of damage being dealt Shadowq's way. So now we'll simply just reset.
A dance of death around the Fire Giant. It's one of those games now where we're going to see the Fire Giant is the be-all and end-all of this game, and it won't necessarily be the Fire Giant who gets it. It'll be whichever team wins the fight after the Fire Giant is taken or around it that is the big one.
Taunt into a little bit of damage. Again, Denial, just little bits of damage being dealt by Team Eager here.
And Shadowq continues to give those protections to his team whenever he can. You saw him spin around, and instead of trying to throw it onto the enemy team to cause damage, he was using it to give his teammates the protections in case they were poked down, just to give it for a little bit longer.
Whalrus is here. He gets knocked back just a little bit by the tidal wave. Denial now. They have the positioning, and they have the ward coverage on the Fire Giant.
It's all about pick for either team, and for me, Denial have the opportunity to pick a little bit more because we're relying on LAssiz on the Kraken as a potential opportunity. Right inside though, double banish again for Bronx. I've said that a few damn times today, and he's working out well for him.
Zapman turning and burning on top of Whalrus, whose ultimate is largely the initiation tool for Denial. That one's down. Whirlpool is going to prevent the aggression from that corridor, so he'll have to look towards the right one for Denial. Shadowq in the middle all by himself, might be in some trouble. Uses his ult on himself. Eager being forced back into lane. This has been a largely even fight.
This is what you're going to see out of Khepri, against the Khepri, though. You're going to play around this ultimate, force it out. They focused Shadowq, they got his ult, they didn't continue killing him. Now they might, though. Omega going to continue the chase as the rest of the team on the right-hand side are going to find Whalrus. Omega in a bit of trouble here. He does get onto his cloud, but he's taking damage from the poison.
Secondara with the last tick of the ultimate, able to secure the kill onto Omega. Great stun. That is DaretoCare to prevent the backs of Denial.
They're chasing deep for this Eager. They want the kills onto them. The wall again. Bronx has actually used beads. Woot misses. Axe misses too. But then BronxBombers will fall down, and Zapman ends on a killing spree. Good news is though, Macetodaface is back in mid, so they've got to be a little bit careful around the Gold Fury still. Sorry, Fire Giant.
Fire Giant is exactly where Eager is going to go. They do have their main damage dealer here in Zapman, and what could be the secure in LAssiz. Shadowq is available. Fire Giant taking so much damage though, already down to 10%. There's the secure. Eager gets the Fire Giant, and they want to fight, but Denial won't let them. Denial heads out in 2 separate directions, 2 to the right, 1 to the left, and with that, Team Eager takes the lead of the game, or solidifies their lead. 5,000 gold by way of Fire Giant.
You can see the gold there on the screen. It's 5,000 back up again for Eager. 5,000 at this stage isn't a huge margin, but you can see when we look at the itemization between these two teams that we're starting to reach these 6 item builds now. The Hunter's slowly working on theirs. Well, Freya in this case will be obviously not a Hunter, Mage, but working on that Rod of Tahuti. Meanwhile, Zapman already finished a Rage. Deathbringer is on the way and almost at completion. So Zapman about to hit critical mass on this Hunter, especially with Fire Giant, which means he can bring down towers and do a lot more damage.
Oh yeah, the towers is really what Eager's going to be looking for right now. 3 of them remain in denial. Colors, 3 Phoenixes, of course, lie behind those towers. And denial now with the fire, or Eager with the fire giant. They're going to go ahead and pick up a gold fury for their troubles, and then make their way into the lanes, likely the left. Largely because that's the furthest one from the fire giant, but we'll see where they opt to go. As Eager collect their gold.
I really love how DaretoCare plays this game, though. He's 2-0-7. He's not got the most kills at the game. He's not been hunting kills crazily. But what he's done is he's given his team the opportunities. He's forced engagements. He's disengaged well, trying to get abilities, poke and prod at the denial lineup, and try and find a spot and a weakness to go aggressive. If he's not found it, it's allowed his teammates to.
A route by Shadowq on point. On to PolarBEarMike, but no follow-up coming out from the guys on denial. Axe going to be missed out of Zapman, but there's a good stun from
Shadowq again. Shadowq has to be a frontline guardian here, so he's going to be on the front line, but if they can continue poking him down, they forced his ult last time, which ended up winning an Eager a fight afterwards. Can they continue the pressure?
Well, the pressure on the tower is certainly there. Zapman takes a couple of hits for his trouble. Shadowq will get in between, but that just allows him to go right into the area of the jungle. 3 people going to be collected here. No kills just yet. Down comes DaretoCare, looking for the Shadowq life. As you said, it's all about that Khepri ultra, trying to make it be used. Whalrus's beads are off cooldown, or on cooldown now. Taunt onto is strong. But Eager get what they come for.
Big
Tier
win.
2 tower
they
falls.
get the tower, but they also get 3 sets of beads in that engagement too. One of those was Whalrus with 180 seconds of beads because it was rank 1. They also got Serqets. They also got Macetodafaces on that new war. They get a tier 2 tower for free because they know that if they go aggressive here denial and try to defend, 1 3-man top, 1 2-man top, one of those targets, they could be bursted.
From left to right, left tower, mid tower, now the right tower. There's just a straight typewriter maneuver. Eager goes from left to right, cleaning the board out. No towers remain for denial, just the Phoenixes. But Eager, not quite that thirsty. They're going to go ahead and backspend all of the gold. Don't forget, that's 1,500, 1,500, 1,500. So 4,500 just by way of towers. And then you got to factor in the gold tree that was taken down before the siege ever happened. Plus the fire giant. There's a lot of gold to be spent, a lot of items to be purchased. We're going to see a very strong Team Eager in this next engagement.
Now, what I'm hoping to really see here is potentially a little bit of a split up of the squad in Eager here. Look for some pressure tier 1 left-hand side and the right-hand side at the same time. Fire Giant buffs up for a little bit longer. They could look to send Omega into that situation where he can, 1v1 and keep pressure in a lane and putting pressure on over and over again. It will force Whalrus away, which means one of their front lines is not available for denial to be able to deal with the taunts, to deal with the walls that we're seeing coming out of Team Eager.
A lot of the walls have been
on point.
Exactly. DaretoCare has found not just the go-to spots, as we see a break from the action, Team Eager taking a breather, not just for the stuns, but just for the straight area denial.
I don't see any bear in that picnic. That's not Zapman and LAssiz.
You don't think so?
They won't be firing fireworks. They'll be firing shots.
A little bit.
And not bad shots, good shots. Happy
shots.
I
see what you did
see what I did there?
Okay.
I don't know what they're waiting for. I guess they're just chilling for the time being. Meanwhile, Denial, we're busy setting up for the Fire Giant, which is due to respawn now. Fire Giant did wear off on Eager there as we were sat around waiting for, I guess the red buff and the purple to spawn is what those two were over there doing. It's the only conclusion I can make.
Just waiting. Yeah, I mean, it's the difference. The red buff provides, since it's percentage boon, the red buff just gets powerful and powerful over time. So Laz is going to be able to pick up these 2 buffs for his hunter and himself.
Meanwhile, the rest of the team on the other side of the map.
Yeah, this is problematic to me. I mean, the red buff very important, but the fight over here on the right side of the map, Fire Giant is about to spawn.
That. I don't really have commentary for other than I don't know. It was the waiting for the buff to spawn. That was about it, really.
Well, that's exactly what was happening.
It was, but it was
they were waiting for the buffs to spawn.
Potentially pushed out lanes,
and it works out for them. This could have been scarier if Fire Giant spawned 10 seconds.
Bronx took a little bit of poke in that engagement in the jungle there in a 3v5 scenario, but now they've realized that the support is here from the boys of Zapman and LAssiz. DaretoCare taking this guy. Shadowq's in a lot of trouble here. He won't want to ult on himself if he can help it. He'll look for a teammate, and BronxBombers might be it. He's under pressure. Has to Valkyrie its discretion into the sky. Meanwhile, on the backside, look at the pressure onto Whalrus here. Zapman's going to be able to bring him down. Eventually, the disarm was good, but LAssiz managed to tidal wave and find the kill. Bronx does get out of the engagement, as does Shadowq, but it's a 1-for-0 exchange so far in favor of Eager.
Picking up on it. PolarBEarMike's
Kraken
ultimate is down.
Still available.
But the Kraken is still up.
Still up. That's such a big point after the engagement. LAssiz held it for the whole time, so even if they do come in here, LAssiz could Kraken it to secure, or Kraken anyone that tries to turn up to contest.
And that's largely the difference. Earlier on, we're 45 minutes deep into this game. Earlier on, Hindu and I were talking about LAssiz just firing off these trigger-happy Krakens. And it was largely because Sikandar was able to find himself on the back line and get to LAssiz, forcing LAssiz to shoot the Kraken at his feet. Now, Sikandar is not able to find that back line, so LAssiz is able to hold on to it, providing that burst much later.
Taunt from PolarBEarMike connected with 2, trying to look for beats. Shadowq cut out of position there.
There it is.
Kraken onto BronxBombers, and he's the one that falls down. PolarBEarMike picks up Shadowq as well. Mace is in a lot of trouble on the backside as well. He will fall down to Zapman, and this looks like the beginning of the end. Eager slowly but surely climbed their way into a victory here. It took a long time though, after a long time.
46 minutes on the clock as the Chaos Titan goes ahead and falls. Zapman, LAssiz, Omega, DaretoCare, and PolarBEarMike. Team Eager go ahead and confirm their first win of a 2-game set.
A good performance from him and a bit of revenge as well. Like we said, Denial took this 2-0 last time these two faced off against each other, and a good solid start from Eager against, to be fair, they didn't have the best lineup to take on the opposition in picks and bans. When you look through the compositions, you're like, well, could be a bit troublesome for them, but they did the right thing and made it work.
Made it work is exactly what happened. Team Eager came out to play, and like we said earlier during the picks and bans, everything was generally standard. A Thor in the jungle, a Poseidon in the mid lane. You don't always have to shake up the meta. You don't need to invent a jungle pick like Naja to win games, and Team Eager proved that they're not just a one-trick pony, that they can go back to the old stuff or bring new stuff in. Either way, they're going to win a game.
Also, I mean, some Wukong is stronger than Serqet and Khepri combined.
I don't know if that's quite the messaging, but here we'll take a look at the first.
And this was a rotation from LAssiz over to this left-hand side with support of DaretoCare too. This is what they were looking to do all early game, was pressure this duo lane over and over again. Shut down the Khepri, shut down the Freya as much as possible.
Exactly.
And leave Omega alone.
Always want to leave Omega alone. And our player of the game this time around is going to be PolarBEarMike. Guy that definitely left Omega alone. 3-1-10 on the Athena. Proved to be very powerful.
I'm okay with his MVP because what he's doing in this game is forcing taunts, getting beads as many times as possible so that Thor can go in and connect with the walls too. Look at that, 3-man beads were wasted there. It looks like such a small mini fight, but 3-man taunts that force beads on everyone, they're clutch. They're important to getting the victory, especially when your team has to wait for those actives to be on cooldown to fully commit.
Don't forget about the slow that comes out of preemptive strike, so very important stuff coming out from PolarBEarMike on the side of Team Eager, playing on that Athena, what is largely considered his best god. So we'll see if Denial opts to ban this character because of everything that PolarBEarMike showed us he's capable of here in game number 1.
I don't know, to be fair, Denial's composition there for me wasn't a terrible composition. I felt it was stronger on paper. I said this halfway through before even Eager to the lead. I felt it was stronger on paper than Eager's composition for the most part. It just didn't execute as well as they would have liked it to. I don't know what the switch up might be. We'll probably see one or two things, though, definitely game 2.
I think we'll see a change in the mid lane. I think that Macetodaface had 1 or 2 solid choices and solid decision-making moments, but nothing that really impacted the game the way these 5 players did at the bottom of your screen. It's the Alpha Draft top performers, and all of them wind up being on the side of Eager, with the exception of Sikandar, the jungler. I said his name so many times. He was just so aggressive, always fighting the back line, and really able to deal out that Serqet damage.
Did what he could for the team and for his first major game for the side of Denial. Not a bad performance.
Not at all.
You replace a member of the team and you get yourself on the Alpha Draft top 5. Not bad.
Exactly. That's how you enter the moment. That's how you make yourself known. It's week 7 of a 10-week split. Sikandar walks in with 3 weeks to go and shows everybody that he's ready to play and he's ready to be on top. So we'll see.